Hi, I'm Andrea and welcome to Vermilion Lane. Today we're going to be making this really scrumptious salad. It's actually a Greek salad, but I make it with lamb meatballs, so it will serve you up very well for dinner, lunch, or, come on, even brunch. So I've got my 1 egg and my teaspoon of chopped garlic. I'm going to mix that all together so I don't have any lumps and bumps going on, and so that my egg gets fully incorporated, because we want to bind these meatballs nicely without having them get tough on us. And then I'm going to add my panko breadcrumbs. I'm using an Italian seasoned panko, but really you can use plain as well. I just find that that Italian seasoning just gives me a little bit more depth of flavor. Along with my panko, I added in my 1 teaspoon of very finely chopped oregano and 1 teaspoon of very finely chopped mint. I've also got a half a teaspoon of finely ground pepper and a half a teaspoon of kosher salt. You can go up to a full teaspoon of that if you like. Now for my white onion, I'm going to do a half a white onion, and if you notice, I'm going to be grating it. I do that because I don't want to bite into the onion, but I want to have that delicious onion flavor. Get all of that lovely onion goodness there. And watch those pinkies, folks. The reason I'm doing it this way and making this sort of porridge here to pour my lamb into is because I want to make sure that I don't have to do a ton of mixing, because of course that's going to beat my lamb up, which means my lamb balls would be tough, and we don't want that. We want them super light and fluffy. That's why we've added the egg, and that's why we've made this kind of slurry that we're going to add it into. But first, before we add in our meat, we've got 2 more ingredients, and these are my favorite. And that's the cumin, and I've got a half a teaspoon going in there, and the cinnamon. That cinnamon flavor is going to be so deep and delicious. And then, of course, it's time for our lamb. But that slightly gamey taste of the lamb, I want that to fully come through. So we haven't gone overboard with our salt or pepper. If you're using kosher salt, go for the full teaspoon. And if you're using table salt or just generic sea salt, then of course a half a teaspoon will do. So if you like, you can take a teaspoon of this, make a small patty, and then go into your hot skillet, cook it up, make sure that you cooked it all the way through, then give a taste, and that'll let you know whether or not you've got salt to your liking. I've got 1 tablespoon of olive oil and half a tablespoon of vegetable oil, and that vegetable oil is in here just to raise my smoking point a little bit. So what you want to do is take a cookie scoop and scoop out your lamb, pop that into your fingers, and then just make a precious little tablespoon-sized ball. And of course, if you don't have the cookie scoop, go for a tablespoon or eyeball it. But I like to have them small because I'm going to be having this with a salad, remember. Now make sure that you don't crowd these, because we want them nicely brown all the way around. Now I'm making these as I go along because I've been making meatballs for so many years. My grandmother Winifred, who was thebomb.com, one of the very best people I've ever met in my entire life, and certainly the best cook I've ever known, taught me to make these meatballs when I guess I was about 10 years old. And I've been making beef meatballs, chicken meatballs, turkey meatballs, lamb meatballs ever since. Once these are nicely browning on all sides, I like to cover them up, let a little steam get inside of there, turning my heat down to medium-low until they're completely cooked through. My meatballs are steaming away, and so they'll be done soon. So I'm going to take this beautiful flatbread, and I'm just going to make these triangular wedges, place them on an ungreased cookie sheet, and these are going to make the perfect accompaniment for our salad. So I'm just going to pop these into a 400-degree oven for just about 5 minutes, just enough to get a little bit of crisp on them so that we can put them alongside our salad. So now it's time for my very favorite part. It's time to assemble the salad. And then I've washed up all my veggies. And I'm going to take my miniature cucumbers and slice them on a diagonal like so. That's going to be so incredibly pretty on this salad. And we need a little bit of crunch, right? Spread them out. They're so pretty. And then dates. I am a date fanatic, and I got to tell you, I did not grow up eating these, but they are a part of my everyday diet now. But the thing is, I don't like that people slice them so thinly. Usually you see this, and you know that's tasty, but I like to slice my dates in half, and I do that because I really want people to bite right into that delicious date. That ooey gooey sweet goodness is going to be such a nice contrast to those really sharp red onions, which I'll sprinkle next. Okay, come on. And then what I want to do is take some of my oregano, and I'm going to chop that up. Not super finely. I just really want to have that taste in my salad to just sort of mirror what I've got going on in my lamb meatballs. Same for my mint. Just enough for taste. Now these little guys, these are peppadew. And if you haven't had these, they are from South Africa. So they're not your typical ingredient when making Greek cuisine. Believe me, it fits in flavor because they have the really cute little kick to them, not too spicy, not too sweet. So this is where things get absolutely beautiful. I'm going to take my warm lamb meatballs and place them all over my salad here. And remember, I've got so many delicious things, from the crisp red onion with their little bite to my really nice and mellow and really sweet dates. I've got my salty black olives. I've got my crunchy cucumber. I've got my ever so juicy tomatoes, and I've got my peppadew, and I'm going to have to pop one in my mouth. They are so good. And the perfect thing about them is they're really spicy, but they're so sweet at the same time. And then you've got that lovely brine. You've got to try them if you haven't. And then, of course, the feta cheese, which I've allowed to sit out a little bit and get just room temperature. But when they hit those meatballs, oh my gosh, it's going to be so ooey, gooey, and good. And then I'm going to take a pinch of dried oregano, and that's going to set everything right over the top. Then I'm going to take a little tzatziki. I always have a little bit of this in the fridge, and I'm going to do a little dollop right on top. Thanks for joining me today. I had a lot of fun making this salad with you, and I hope that you enjoy it just as much as I do. And it's time to take a bite. I want to make sure I get some meatball in this, and a little date, and a little peppadew. There's too much to get it all, and of course I gotta have the lettuce. I mean, that's the whole point. I'm trying to be healthy here, right? This is gonna be so good. Oh my gosh. That date and peppadew combination is so good. And the lamb meatballs are tender and light. Go to vermilionlane.com for this and lots more recipes. I will see you there. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Google+, and anywhere else. Thanks, guys. Bye.